Hi, Amanda Hill, Realtor with Bray Real Estate, and I wanted to talk today about the NAR settlement and all of the changes of what's going on there. So, what happened, what was going on, and what is happening with the changes moving forward with real estate? So, first of all, what happened? There was, as the short story, there is a seller who was in another state and he had signed to sell his property with an agent. At closing, he was a little frustrated and confused that part of that commission that he had agreed to pay that agent was actually split with the buyer's agent. With that, he had decided to take a legal action and to sue. He did not sue that agent, he actually sued the MLS of that agent and where they were at. With that, it did turn in from one lawsuit into a class action lawsuit. At that point, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, got involved, as well as the NAR, which stands for the National Association of Realtors. So, what happened? NAR got involved and did want to make sure that it's protecting its members, but ultimately, our goal as a realtor is to protect the community and the public. So, we want to make sure that we're doing everything right. With that, the Department of Justice did push really hard to NAR to decouple or separate the commissions. The Department of Justice decided that it would be better for buyers to be able to negotiate their own contracts and negotiate the commission that they pay their agent separately. So, what happened? In April, the National Association of Realtors then decided to provide a settlement to the class action lawsuit with the DOJ. So, what did they attempt to settle? With the attempt from NAR, they had given a few changes of what would take place. First, the MLS would no longer provide a co-op commission provided to the buyer's agent. So in the past, I would list a property with a seller and we would offer a co-op commission to whoever would bring the buyer to help us sell our house with that property. So that co-op commission is no longer allowed to be in the MLS, and that buyer agent will need to be negotiating their own commission with their buyer directly or in the sales contract. So that was the first big change, removing the commission or compensation agreement from the MLS. The second big change, which is very big for buyers, is that the Department of Justice is now requiring a buyer to sign a disclosure with a buyer broker before looking at a house. And so that's a little different. We always had those disclosures, but I know for me personally, I would like to build rapport with my clients and make sure that we want to work together before I make them sign anything. But moving forward, as of August 17th, all of the new contracts have been released and we are moving forward with all of those changes. So August 17th was our big deadline there. So from this deadline on, the buyers have to sign a disclosure stating what relationships that they could work with a buyer broker. The third change is that the contracts did change. So all that number three change is the contracts did change. Real estate in Colorado, all of our real estate contracts are drafted by attorneys. And we have really great contracts. And in those class action lawsuits, Colorado was not named in any of those at all among any of the lawsuits that were going on. So thank you, Colorado attorneys, for making really great contracts for us. And it sounds like other states now are actually looking at Colorado's contracts so they can kind of mimic ours. And so they can make sure that they have great contracts as well. So what does this mean for you as a seller? What does this mean for you as a buyer? Ultimately, the homes will still be sold with an agent and everything else will be just as normal. But for a buyer, you're going to have to make sure that you're doing your due diligence. You don't want to just talk to every agent and sign an agency agreement with each person. You want to make sure that you're really vetting your buyer broker that you're talking to and make sure that you want to work with that person. As a seller, you now have an option of how you are wanting to work with your listing broker to advertise your property. Now that the offer of compensation is not in the MLS, you have some different options of things that you want to do, but you'll have to be a little creative if you are still wanting to market or offer that commission. So give me a call with any questions. There's a lot of changes that are still going on, as it's brand new for the public, for agents, and all of this is new information. All of the court proceedings, they will actually go into November. So right now, the Department of Justice and the court has not approved the settlement that NAR did, but we do believe, or the NAR does believe, that we're doing everything that was asked for by the DOJ. One item that is also part of that settlement that people might say, hey, don't forget to mention this, the fourth item, I guess, yeah, number 4, would be that NAR did agree to a settlement of $418 million, and that will be paid out in the next 4 years. Who will that go to? Good question. Mostly the attorneys, but it sounds like the individuals who did go into those class action lawsuits, they may get $200 or something, is what I was reading in the last reports. So do your own due diligence. Make sure to check out the facts at realtor.org and let me know if you have any questions, and happy hunting.